let's get right into the biggest breaking news that we've got for this week. Sort of a Friday news dump situation with the resignation of Wayne LaPierre being announced on Friday by the NRA in what comes as a major shakeup to the gun rights movement. Wayne LaPierre has obviously been the face of the NRA and its leader for decades now. He's seen the organization through tremendous growth to the point where it reached really the pinnacle of political power in this country, where, they effectively helped elect a president, Donald Trump, in 2016. They spent $54 million in that race. They grew membership to over 5 million members under his tenure. And now he's gone. But of course, one of the major reasons he's gone, it sure seems, is that he has been dogged by allegations of corruption, some which the NRA and he have admitted to. The use of NRA funds for personal expense has been the center of these allegations. Things like private jet flights, fancy suits, luxury vacations, lots of self-dealing accusations going on, yacht trips from the owners of companies that work with the NRA that have really cushy deals with the NRA. Things of that nature have obviously been at the center of the NRA story over the last 4 years. And Wayne LaPierre's resignation, perhaps not coincidentally, comes as the trial in New York over those allegations is set to begin on Monday, probably when you perhaps hearing this. So pretty major shakeup there at the NRA. He actually will not be out of his position as executive vice president until the 31st of January. So he will be in there technically through this trial. At least most of this trial is expected to take 6 weeks. And he's going to be replaced in the meantime in an interim role by Andrew Rule-Nundum, who is one of his closest advisors and has been for decades. And until just last month, actually, was the organization's spokesperson. Then they fired the head of general operations, which is the part of the NRA that oversees things like the gun safety training program. For instance, I am a NRA certified instructor. That's done through general operations. It's separate from things like the political wing. The Institute for Legislative Action is a totally separate legal entity. But the head of general operations was let go last month and replaced by Rule-Nundum, who then was in line to become the executive vice president if Wayne LaPierre resigned or left, and that's exactly what he's doing. So Andrew Rule-Nundum will take over, obviously a Wayne ally, and has been for a long time. Additionally, one of the people who announced this resignation was NRA President Charles Cotton, who is serving an additional term after the board changed the rules to allow him to do that, and forced out the Willis Lee, who was the first vice president that was set to take his place. So, one thing I will say, just as a bit of an analysis here for you guys, and we've got a piece on this, of course, at the Reload. I don't think this changes very much in the short term. It's a monumental change to see Wayne LaPierre not be the head of the NRA. I think for anyone in America, honestly, that's the level of importance the NRA serves in American politics, and obviously, especially within the gun rights movement, and that he has been the face and the head of that organization for decades, since 1991, for over 30 years now. And him not being the guy anymore is going to be a long-term monumental change. Now, it's something that may have resulted anyway from this lawsuit in New York, this civil suit that they're facing. But, having it happen now, I think doesn't change much for the trial itself. Although I will say that the NRA's defense in that case has been effectively that they had admitted to some wrongdoing, to some what they've called excess benefits being taken by leadership, including Wayne LaPierre, although they have disputed how much that was by orders of magnitude. Wayne LaPierre and other members of leadership are accused of diverting tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, or $100 million or more over decades now, of course, to themselves from NRA funds for lavish personal expenses. And so they haven't admitted to anywhere near that level of diversion. And instead, they have rooted out a couple of the people who were at the center of this. The former treasurer is gone. Wayne's former chief of staff, actually, Josh Powell, his name is, he just settled with the New York Attorney General and will have to pay $100,000 actually back to the NRA itself at the conclusion of this trial, and won't be able to serve on any nonprofit boards going forward in New York. That's sort of something that is at stake for Wayne LaPierre, and that remains obviously on the table even if he resigns and is no longer in charge of the NRA. So the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, who, to be fair, is a political opponent of the NRA, has called them a domestic terror organization when she was running for Attorney General. But she has also said that this resignation doesn't change her approach to the case. And I think leadership, as you know, given the makeup of it, as I just explained, I don't think is likely to change its approach to this case very much. But they have sort of bolstered their legal argument that they rooted out some of this corruption, that the people who were responsible for it are now no longer at the NRA. And that is the argument they're going to take to court starting on Monday. And perhaps it's a bit stronger with Wayne LaPierre resigning, although, again, he won't actually be out of office until about halfway through this trial. So we'll see what kind of impact that has in the real world. It's certainly a monumental change, though, to the American political scene and the gun rights movement especially.